Hey everyone, hope you're having a fantastic week. Sorry it's been a while, more than a week that I've been waiting to get a video out, but this is a pretty cool one because it's like Christmas. I got a box from Lancaster Archery, and you know what that means. It's unboxing time. Let's do that right after the break. Roll that intro. Welcome back. Look, big box, right? So what's in here? Let's find out. Let's talk about it, and let's talk about what we're gonna do with this. All right, so unboxing, here we go. Okay. These are, you tell me, is it Uukha or Uukha or something like that? I don't know. And is that a flying squirrel? Rocky, Bullwinkle? Which one was the flying squirrel? I forget which one. Anyway, kind of weird that it's a that's their symbol, a flying squirrel. Maybe that's what that means in some language. If you know, leave in the comments below. Anyway, so this was the reason why it's taken so long to get another video, a review video out to you, is because I've been waiting on these limbs to come in. If you know anything about ILF limbs and recurve bare bow, these are more expensive limbs than what I typically show on this channel. I try and keep the expense or the cost down. I preach that you don't need really expensive equipment to be a really good archer. I still believe that, but I was getting so many comments that, hey man, yeah, these look like good limbs and they're cheap and stuff, but throw some Uukhas on your setup and you are going to be so much happier, so much happier. I like the saying that Matt from the Push Archery always says, you know, buy once, cry once. And so he says that about biter plungers, but you know, maybe that's true with nice ILF limbs. However, if you're an archer and you're shooting an ILF system, you have probably several types of limbs sitting around because some days you want a 40-pound limb, some days you want a 46-pound limb. And you just want to change around. Maybe it's for hunting or whatever. Anyway, what I found very versatile is a 38-pound set of long limbs for me, for my height, 6'1"-ish, maybe 2-ish. So let's open these up. All right, so I made fun of the cheapy limbs, so I'm going to say it here too. Look at that, got sent in a big box from Lancaster, but with inside this box are just the limbs sitting there to bounce around. That could hurt the tips or whatever. The same thing, even in the my low-cost limbs, these Phantoms. I just show you these again, just to remind you, or if you haven't seen these were $89 from Lancaster, 38-pound long limbs. So anyway, those limbs were 38 pounds. They came in a box just like this, but they had newspaper. They had Korean newspaper. It was a little bit old Korean newspaper, but. I thought to myself, and I joked a little bit on that video saying, wow, great packaging. You know, here, not even the newspaper. It's just, so, I don't know. Let's see if they survive. Let's see what's in the box. So we get the two limbs. Okay. Get the flying squirrel box, obviously. You get a nice Uukha sticker. Very nice. Could always use that. Instructions and advice, safety, assembly, recommended setup, weight choices, brace height, string length. This is kind of nice, actually. Oh, and on the back, it's in French. So being Canadian, or if you're a Canadian and you're watching this channel, we're used to getting English and French. Not so much here in the US. Usually Spanish if it's a second language. And Uukha product guide for 2019. I apologize if I'm butchering that name too, by the way. If anyone wants to correct me, please do. I'm open to getting better. Oh, wow. That's some nice looking gear. So everyone says to me that not only are these limbs excellent to shoot, and they have a nice sort of draw to them, they are also beautiful. And so I can tell you right now, this packaging, this sleeves that are on them are nicest ones I've ever seen. Oh. Oh man. Okay. Well, you know, I kind of noticed this with the limb saver, not limb savers, but these sleeves on them. I thought, wow, those are small. But wow. So these are the EVO1, or sorry, EX1 EVO2. EX1 EVO2. They've been on the market for a while, I understand. And they're reasonably priced, I guess. $350 plus shipping and tax. That's here in the US. That's US dollars. These are stinking beautiful. Oh my gosh. I am like, I'm a little blown away how nice these are. They feel beautiful. I wish you could feel these. And they look beautiful. I mean, as opposed to, you know, this mess, you know. And wow, look at this. Look at the difference here. Look at that difference. Can you tell that on the camera? I hope so. This is about only 3/4 the width of these things. These suckers are massive now when I look at them compared to these. The size of those limbs. Let's see how wide that is. These are the $89 ones. These are the $350 ones. And the profile here of the limb, the end of the limb, there's just this hump, and usually that hump goes all the way across. So I don't know how that will fit in with my CD archery riser. I'm going to shoot these limbs the same as I shot these limbs here, and we'll run them through the chronograph, and we'll run them through the testing. We'll see if the poundage, based on this way the pocket is, see what the pound these limbs are on the fingers, and then I will put these limbs on. I won't adjust anything, and I'll see what that draw weight is, and see if that, because of the profile of this limb, maybe it's higher, maybe the poundage is higher. My thought is that because of the price I'm paying for these, I'm going to get more speed out of these, and where that's going to help me is in hunting. It helps because you get your lethal end of the arrow to the target faster, so they don't have time to react. And then for, you know, when I throw these, I want to throw these on my G-Low riser, my 25-inch ILF riser. And what I'll do with them is I'll shoot 50 yards outdoor. So if they're faster limbs and they recover faster, then I don't have to use this heavy poundage to shoot point on from 50 yards away at a target. I hope that all makes sense. Faster limbs that recover faster, limbs that spit out the arrow quicker, will have that kinetic energy to get to the target without having a huge trajectory. Now, you still have a pretty high trajectory. Anyway, regardless, these are, look at the size of them. Look how thin that is. Why don't you show this one more time? Maybe this angle's better. Yeah, it's because it's not strong. It's hard to tell, but I hope that comes across. And the difference, I mean, they could have made these a different color. Oh, one of my viewers said that they do make these in black, those $89 limbs in black. That's kind of cool, but here's the thing. $89 for the silver ones, $99 for the black ones. Is it worth the $10? I think so, because honestly, if they were black, I wouldn't have to spray paint them. So let's get to the testing. We'll be right back, and I'll do a final review, first impression review for you when we get back. Talk to you soon. All right, guys, we're out in the backyard now, so going to shoot up my little bear down range, about 15 yards. I've got some, well, this is what I typically am shooting nowadays for 3D and for mostly everything. These Easton Epics with the 4-inch vanes, and I've got 200 grain point up top. That one's kind of flat, but so what we'll do is we'll test these limbs. Again, they're on the WF19 CD archery riser. I have about 8.5-inch brace height, almost 9, sorry, 8 3/4. And yeah, let's give it a shot. See how they feel. I'll give you a little, my impression on how they feel. So let me just, after that shot, so just to let you know, I mean, I feel like they're just so much zippier. You know, they just come back faster, and then they seem to stop a lot quicker too. So what I mean by that is the string goes forward, but then it stops vibrating quickly. It doesn't feel like it goes to here. Whereas my other setup, you know, the $89 limbs that I'm comparing these against, they seem to let the string come back a little bit. I get a little bit of wrist slap. That's just a bad shot. But that being said, they just are fast. Yeah, they're good limbs. So I don't know what else to tell you. They're limbs. They shoot 38 pounds. Do they feel lighter than my other 38-pound limbs? Not particularly. What I will tell you is that the draw on them, so when we start this way, when I start off my draw, right away it's heavier. But as I go back into my back, they seem to set and feel a little bit lighter. But I think where you get the different feel is that from here it starts off solid and continues. It gets a little bit tight here, and then I go past that. That must be 28, and then 29. So that last inch is you see a little bit of a curve in the weight. So you know, it feels kind of light, kind of heavier at the very beginning, and then during the pullback to 28, almost to my face, is about the same, and then getting to 29, it goes up to. You know, so I'm assuming, and I have no idea about this, but I'm assuming I'm pulling heavier at the very beginning and it stays steady throughout my draw cycle, and then at 29 it gets a little bit to a wall. And I gotta be honest with you, getting a little bit to a wall, that is pretty good. That's a nice feeling. So if you're shooting something like this for a hunting rig, hunting setup, this is a great limb. Yeah, it's expensive, relatively. You can spend $1,000 on a set of limbs, I think, 700, 800 bucks, maybe. But for the price, 300 and around 350 to 380. And if you can get them used from someone who doesn't like these anymore and they've gone upscale, then I would say this is a definite buy for me. We're going to do the chrono, obviously, so you get to see the speed on these. You'll find out that these are 10 feet per second faster than the cheapo limbs for $89. So it's your choice. You're not going to shoot any more accurately, I don't think, but at range you might. So if you like to shoot long distances and you want to keep a flatter trajectory, but you want to keep the same poundage, then you go with a faster limb. So faster feet per second if you're going to shoot beyond 20 yards. Within 20 yards, you know, I would say get any limb you want. These are competition level limbs, and they're for shooting not just at 20 yards and not just at 18 meters, although they work really well at 18 meters. Yeah, all right, that's my review. Guys, thanks very much. We're now over 500. We're heading towards 600 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough. I know I try and keep this channel to the low end equipment as much as I possibly can. It's just as I'm getting into bare bow more and more, I find that the equipment's getting more expensive. But if it's your hobby and that's the only thing that you do, then by all means, spend that money to get good gear. Not all, I will say though, not all expensive gear is good gear. You know, you have to pick the right quality stuff. And the way you can do that is, you know, follow us on this channel. I'll give you insight. Leave comments below. I can answer any questions you might have because I have a lot of contacts into people who know things. I know people who know things. I don't know a lot of things, but my friends do. And, you know, you have resources online like the Trad Lab that'll tell you, you know, what are the best arrows. A lot of that stuff can be complicated and confusing. But what I want to try and do on this channel is break that down for you. So please, a lot of you have been asking questions. I'm more than happy to answer those questions. Just keep them short, and then I'll get back to you as quick as I possibly can. All right, everyone. Well, you got to see me shoot a little bit. Got to see the chrono and what the speeds were on these Uukha limbs. My final thought on shooting them out of this bow, I think I got to shoot a lot more than what you saw on video. Just kind of shut it off and just relaxed and just had a lot of fun with these limbs. Honestly, really fast limbs. The actual weight on these limbs at my draw on the fingers weight is 45 pounds. So 45 pounds is that's a lot. That's great for hunting. Love it. So I'm right on 45 pounds with this setup for hunting. Will be really good. My other set of limbs, exact same configuration, not moving the bolts out or anything like that. Those limbs, the low cost $89 limbs, were only 43.5 pounds, somewhere around there. So like a pound and a half difference, and so it's going to reflect in the shootings. But it's pretty amazing the extra speed you get for 1.5 extra pounds out of these limbs. And again, they just shoot like butter, and they feel really great. So you really, I mean, again, for the price, would I buy them again? Yeah, I think I might just only shoot these limbs until I find something that's maybe more expensive and maybe better. I don't know how they get better again. I said that about the $89 limbs, but I was so impressed with them and so happy with them because, you know, when you buy something at that low cost, you don't expect much, but they really outperformed their cost curve. These perform at their cost level, I think. $350 is not an insignificant amount of money to pay for limbs. So if you can afford them, they look fabulous. I mean, they look incredible. They shoot incredibly well. You could have these the rest of your career in barebow, I would imagine. So anyway, my opinion, 38, 40 pounds is good enough for all barebow. Anything you're going to do in barebow, if you can get to 38, 40 pounds, you should be great. And that's kind of what I did, long limbs. So these are 38 pounds on a 25-inch riser. I'm going to be switching them over to that setup so I can do 3D this year. So anyway, that's my final thoughts on these limbs. Or sorry, my initial thoughts and my final thoughts of my initial thoughts, if you know what I'm saying. All right. Until we talk again, enjoy the great outdoors. Take it easy. Banging arrows. Might want to back up.